As lockdown is gradually being relaxed, most of the medical facilities which were shut for 2 months are now looking forward to open up. In vitro fertilization centers are one of them. We have today with us Dr. Nandita Palshetkar and Dr. Hrishikesh Pai, both IVF experts at Lilavati Hospital and different hospitals across India. So Dr. Palshetkar and Dr. Pai, welcome to the show.
Hello, hi.
Dr. Palshetkar, so I suppose there are around 15% people in India or maybe across the world who are infertile. So that means there is a huge chunk of population which seek or need IVF treatments, and most of the treatments are lengthy and also costly, I suppose. So can you please elaborate how did you manage your patients who might have been at different stages of treatment when the lockdown began on 24th of March?
I think, hi Kanchan, thank you for having me on your show. And what I would like to say is these are very difficult times. You know, when the lockdown was announced by Modi ji on 22nd, it was really meaning we were expecting it to happen, but yeah, it did cause a setback. But of course, everybody realized that it is for safety. And when we took the fact that safety was very, very important, that's when we started to stop doing the cycles and all. So we had actually taken a decision 1 or 2 weeks earlier that we must try and finish by, say, 20th of March. You know, that is what decision we had taken. So whatever cycles were going on, we continued them. And we did not start new cycles. So that was very important in communicating. In fact, our batch in Mohali was actually abandoned because we told them that we will like to do it after the lockdown. So all those patients who were undergoing, egg retrievals, all their gametes were taken. We completed those cycles and we did not start new cycles. And all those patients who needed a frozen embryo transfer, you know, we prepare them to put the embryos back in. All those patients till, I think, till 22nd or 23rd, we were doing all the cases. Then after that, we had to cancel the cases. Now, Kanchanji, that was very traumatic to us as well as the patients. So a lot of counseling was required. We chatted with the patients, and there was, I remember there was one patient who wanted to return to a place which was abroad. So we did her case and she left for abroad. So we had to kind of be kind also. So those people who really required it had to be finished and sent off. We did those. And those whom we could hold on, we definitely told them to hold on. Now, in the meanwhile, in the lockdown, what was really important was maintaining the liquid nitrogen, because we have a lot of frozen embryos, nearly 25,000 plus embryos of different patients over the years. You know, me and Dr. Pai have been working now for 25 to 30 years in IVF, and we've got a lot of embryos. So maintaining that in liquid nitrogen was very, very important, because liquid nitrogen in a container, you know, it evaporates. So we have to keep refilling it every day. So actual calculations were done, and every 10 days, all our units all over Delhi, Gurgaon, Bombay, Navi Mumbai, Lilavati Hospital, all the places, we took care that the liquid nitrogen was filled up and these gametes were taken care of. Because a lot of patients call me up, you know, madam, everything will be all right. No, our embryos are okay. So that kind of a thing definitely happens. And how to start? See, we've been doing teleconsulting all this while, because patients definitely need, to be reassured. They need to see you. So video consulting has been a big boon now, because they can see you and they feel as if they're sitting in front of you and talking to you. And it's been an important form of communication. So how we are consulting right now is we are taking the patient's reports and all on WhatsApp, and we talk to them on WhatsApp videos, or we do a Zoom meeting, etc. with them. There are Lilavati Hospital has also set up a teleconsultation method where we can get all the reports and do it. So now, as we are preparing to go back, see, what is important, Kanchan, is that, the triaging of the patients, meaning we have to have safety in our minds regarding safety of the patient, safety of my staff, and all these, and we are creating life. So we are planning to take a lot of steps. First is entry of the patient inside. Our organizations in India and abroad have given us guidelines saying that you must ask a questionnaire to the patient, whether they live in a containment area, whether they've come in contact with somebody who's traveled outside. So there is a questionnaire which we've prepared. So we will make the patient as well as our staff fill it up, because that will be kind of screening which will be done. Then after that, if they are entering the clinic, this is like a 15-day triage. We want to do the testing of the patients, COVID, whether they're COVID positive or not. But that depends on the government rules which are there in different places. Like the Municipal Corporation of Bombay does not allow any testing of asymptomatic patients at the moment unless they are in contact with somebody who's traveled, or they have very, very close contact. So I think Arogya Setu would be one way in which we would tell the patients to, so that we would understand if they've been in contact and all. And there are a lot of changes we are planning in the laboratory also. Various filters and all. I think Dr. Pai can talk about that. But what I am talking about is screening of the patients, taking their temperatures, and see that every patient that enters the clinic has a mask and a face shield. I think that's very, very important. And I want to tell your viewers, all our viewers, that don't get so scared. If studies have been done, and it has been shown that if you have more than 15 minutes of contact with a COVID positive patient, then you're in some kind of a danger. But otherwise, if you maintain social distancing, if you maintain that 15 minutes as a kind of a holy grail, not extend your time in contact with anybody more than that, I think that would really help you. And also another important thing is hand hygiene, face hygiene. Do not touch your face. So I think the face mask, the face shields, and the hand hygiene would be the most important thing once we ease down the lockdown and we start getting patients in for a treatment. And the best part, of course, would be if we are allowed to do COVID tests on these patients who are undergoing the treatments.
Dr. Pai, so you have, Dr. Pai, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
So Dr. Pai, you have a lot of, biological samples, you have a lot of, sophisticated solutions, machines, So how do you actually plan to restart? Do you need, because the government is saying that all kind of industries, they have to, keep a very strict check before reopening. So what kind of procedures you are going to follow, apart from the human angle that Dr. Pal Shipwell told already?
So no, madam, when this COVID epidemic came, the main directive given by all over the world, many organizations got together, including our FOXY and our ISR, that is the Indian Society for Assisted Reproduction. And the decision was that we have to shut down everything because all the medical facilities that are there should be used for COVID patients. And if you look at even now, today, as of now, 80% of the beds of even the private hospitals have been acquired by the government, because this is not going to go away. This pandemic, we thought that with the lockdown it will settle down, but it is not going to go away. It is actually going up every day. 5,000 cases are getting added, and more acquisitions are taking place. As far as the labs are concerned, we are going to make two teams primarily. The advice has come from all over the world, and actually, I wish I was in the advising the government, because I would have advised them. Even in restaurants, in everything, you have to restart. So you have to make two teams. If one team gets infected, one of the person gets infected, then the rest of them can be quarantined, but the work should go on. You understand? That's why minimum two teams have to be made as per our advice given by our international organization. And also we need to have understanding with other IVF center also. Suppose both the teams get infected, then what? So we must have understanding with one more center ki Baba, if there is an infection in our center, I will come with all my patients to your center. Similarly, the other way around. So internal understanding has to be done between the IVF. We can't compete all the time with each other. We have to now have the language of cooperation also. So that is a very important. Then of course in our operation theaters and also minimization of visits is going to be there. Means instead of calling patient 6 times and she getting exposed, we getting exposed, the chance of infection goes up. Minimizing, so as Nandita ji said, that teleconferencing, minimizing the visits to 2 or 3 only. In 2-3 visits, we'll finish the whole cycle. That is very important. Then PP, personal protection equipment. When actually this COVID infection started, I didn't know what is the full form of PP. I went on the Google and said, what is PP? Then it came, personal protection equipment. We were never aware of all these things in our life. So the PP is now important for us. Fortunately, India is a manufacturing country, so huge amount of PP is going to be available. And testing. Just now, before I came on the net, I just now read on LinkedIn that the Roche test that has come out from Switzerland, just about 2 hours back I read, in England they have done the first trial and it is nearly 100% accurate. So this Roche antibody test is a breakthrough research has come from England that 100% accuracy there in to know whether antibodies are there or not. So once these tests become more accurate, then we can use them in not only in hospital but in restaurant also. We can test our waiters, we can test our cooks, we can test our journalists. So the test is testing. This test needs to be there. If we want the economic recovery back, we must test everyone, whether you like it or not. So that testing is important. As far as the lab is concerned, in the OT, minimizing the people. We are, already our OTs, most of our IVF centers have got what is known as air handling unit. Every 10 minutes, the whole air in the operation theater is changed. So we already have advanced treatment, because I always believed in advanced things. I always spend money on my patient. My philosophy of life is that I must give them the same treatment as they will get in America, number one. And number two, any person who comes to हमारे द्वार में जो कोई भी आता है, अमीर या गरीब, वो वापस नहीं जाना मांगता है. We should not send him back. We also believe in the philosophy of treating people at low cost also, but not at the cost of the care. The care is very important. The care should be the same whether you have a rich person or a poor person. This is very important in our philosophy of life. So
Dr. Palshetkar, so some of the IVF experts in Pune, they have said that some of the patients who were seeking assistance for conception, they have suddenly reported that they are pregnant without any assistance, in the 2 months period of lockdown. So one IVF expert in Pune, he said that 9 couple, they got, 9 of the women, they got pregnant. And one IVF expert reported three such couple. So have you also seen, any kind of this thing? And also, what do you think is the reason of, pregnancy without any assistance?
Okay, I think Kanchan, we have to remember that even when there was no COVID, we did see about 20 to 30% pregnancy rate in the waiting period to IVF. Sometimes patients had to wait. We had to correct their, say, anemia or their vitamin D, etc. So a lot of time patients did conceive. So in fact, I've had an experience of 3 patients who have conceived, but unfortunately, one of them has had an, miscarriage. So these things do happen, and I personally feel that the reason probably is that it's the day-to-day stress of your lives, going to work, getting up in the morning, or cooking your lunch or dabba, whatever, you are doing your household chores, then you have work pressures. Now all those things have suddenly gone down. The work pressures and all, everybody is working from home. I'm getting up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, which I haven't done for not 2-3 years, I think 2 decades. I mean, I'm always up at 6 o'clock, operating at 7 a.m. So I'm like, okay, so it has relieved the stress. And probably that has helped a few people. But yes, the stress of no income coming in is also there on people. So I think if you look at stress, it plays an important role in our fertility. There is something called unexplained infertility. 10% of the patients do not have any reason why they are not conceiving. And these are the patients who may benefit from, just being together, having the opportunity, having the time to have a relationship. Because a lot of times the husband was somewhere, the wife was somewhere, and now they're together. So I think all those factors, even male factor, the male factor does get affected by stress, by usage of computers all the time. Then, cigarette smoking may be lesser in the house. Some wives don't like their husband smoking in the house. So all those factors probably will contribute to it. And those who are borderline, like, some of the PCOS cases which are borderline, who don't conceive, in those cases also, sometimes you can have conception when they're, sitting at home, they're focused on themselves. A lot of people are exercising at home, which they would not do in their day-to-day life. So I think the overall lifestyle change may have affected a few people.
Dr. Pai, what is your concluding remark, please?
No, so I also feel that, if many of the patients, when they have the first child through IVF, the second child they have on their own. So because they are happy now, so they are contented. There's no stress of having a child. So this happens. Only thing in this particular 9 is a bit too much, but yeah, maybe there's a coincidence. That's why the report was a bit, because there can be some other thoughts in other people's mind that doctors are probably doing unindicated stuff, but it is not so. It is mainly that it is the stress related thing. But people, when they come to you, they want, suppose 7 years they are married and they have not had a child. So they want a child. You not only want to give them the child, but you need to give the child at the right time. You don't want to have a child at 50, when by the time the child grows 20 years. So the time to have a child at the right time is also infertility treatment. It's not only treating to have a child, but to have a child at the earliest, at the right time. And this is what my advice to all of our viewers is, that when you get married, try to be the traditional way. In a traditional way, immediately in 2 years or 3 years time, we would try for a child. It's very important to have the kid and grow together with the children. Nowadays the couples want to first they want to settle down. We can never settle. Look at me today at the age of such a older age. I still am now unsettled with this COVID virus. I don't know what will happen in my life. So you can never settle down in life. So you should do everything in parallel.
Dr. Palshetkar, your concluding remarks, please.
I think for those girls who have their careers, who have not married, and who don't have a life partner, or those people who are married and don't want to have a child first, I think egg freezing is something which we can offer them to stop their biological clock from ticking. So yes, I agree with him that traditionally if you're married and you should have a child, but I think there are a lot of things which also need to be taken into consideration considering a modern couple. So I think everything has to be done on the right time. I agree with him, but sometimes other factors come into this, and this is where you use technology to help you. It's like a fertility insurance. I'm not saying that egg freezing has to be used to give you a baby. You may freeze your eggs and then you may conceive naturally also. It's just an insurance. You take life insurance today, you take insurance for your cars today. So why not fertility also? So I think this is something that which we can offer our patients, and egg freezing is what should be offered to young girls, because it will empower them to do what they need to do with their life and their careers and their marriages.
One thing I wanted to tell you that on our lab we are also putting special ultraviolet lights and air filters. Nearly 1 crore of investment we are making now, which is not, I don't know, it's difficult, but I thought that we should, for the safety of people, so we have special photocatalytic filters that we are putting, and special UV lights that we are putting to kill the virus.
So he's talking about COVID-free IVF centers. Okay, we are trying to be COVID-free.
Okay. Thanks for talking with us. Thank you, doctors.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.